prognostication of a perennial underclass, the multifaceted challenges of Black America. Introduction. The proposition of Black Americans transforming into a permanent underclass within a decade warrants a sober evaluation of current social, economic, and political circumstances. This potential outcome emerges from an amalgamation of factors, including embracing historical trauma, accountability issues within the community, the rise of competitive immigrant populations, and the expected augmentation of anti-Black sentiment. It is imperative to dissect these issues using an objective lens, focusing on a critical analysis of the available evidence. Self-imposed trauma and lack of accountability. The ramifications of historical and systemic racism undeniably pose a substantial challenge for Black Americans. However, the argument that a self-imposed trauma-related mental state contributes to this potential underclass status requires careful examination. This phrase suggests an internalization of defeat and negativity which, while prevalent in some quarters due to chronic exposure to adversity, cannot be generalized to represent the entire community. On the topic of accountability, one cannot deny that social problems persist within Black American communities, including high crime rates and family instability. This observation, however, should not be taken as a condemnation of the entire group but rather as an indication of the need for pragmatic business initiatives to address these issues. Selective outrage, often driven by sensationalized media portrayal, only exacerbates the problem and hampers constructive dialogue. The emergence of competitive minority communities. The United States, as a nation of immigrants, continuously experiences shifts in its demographic composition. African, Asian, and Hispanic immigrants bring strong cultural values related to education and work ethic, often driven by the dream of upward mobility. These populations can have outperformed native Black Americans in various socioeconomic indicators, intensifying competition and potentially exacerbating inequality. Increasing anti-Black sentiment. The growing anti-Black sentiment, particularly from white Americans and competing minority groups, demands careful scrutiny. Systemic racism has long since been replaced with predatory capitalism. The unchanging racial animosity oversimplifies America's complex and evolving dynamics of race and economic relations. Yet, if unchecked, such sentiments can reinforce racial disparities and contribute to the socio-economic entrenchment of Black Americans. The imminent rise of a permanent Black American underclass. Given the above factors, the idea of a permanent Black American underclass within a decade is a plausible, albeit unsettling, proposition. It is vital, however, to understand that this as a potential outcome can be altered with innovative economic interventions, creative business philosophies, and new cultural adaptations. The prospect of Black Americans becoming a permanent underclass in the United States within a decade emerges from a multifaceted set of challenges, including internal community issues, external competition, and growing racial animosities. This potential reality is not a foregone conclusion but a cautionary trajectory necessitating societal awareness and constructive action. Recognizing these challenges and their implications is the first step toward dismantling the mechanisms that perpetuate racial and economic disparities.